Okay, so we want to look at these questions here. So we'll start with this first one over here. It says that the shape of the heart shown in the figure is given by the equation. Make a plot of the heart. So realize that we have a symbolic expression here, right? So I'll first start by typing out s, y, m, s, x, and y because these are my symbolic variables. Then I can type out the expression we have. So let me call the expression a. So a is equal to x squared plus y minus, so this is the same as x to the power 2 over 3, right? The cube root of x squared. So we might assume that it's supposed to be x to the power 2 over 3, all of this squared, then minus 1 if I send the 1 over the equal to sign. So it becomes minus 1. So this becomes my expression. Now, because it's a symbolic function, I can type ez plots for that. But before we get into the ez plot, let's get our interval, the range we wanted to plot it for. So from the graph here, it's from minus 1.5 to 1.5 for both x and y. So I can see that my interval is equal to minus 1.5 to 1.5. Now if I type ez plot and I type the function, comma, the interval, realize that the graph I'm going to get looks like this, which is just half of what I'm looking for. The reason why this is happening is because when we look at the expression, we have here x squared or cube root of x squared. What MATLAB is doing is that it's trying to put in so many values, and it realizes that there will be some complex parts of the solution, and it's going to ignore the complex parts for plotting the graph. So what we can do is that if we want MATLAB to pick what we call the real valued parts of the function, so that it can plot the whole thing for us, then we use the function nth root. So I'll show us how to use it. Sorry, if I type nth root x comma 3, this means the cube root of x. Nth root x comma 2 means the square root of x. So instead of typing x to the power 2 over 3 here, I could have rather said, so this was the expression, instead of typing x to the power 3 here, I could have just said minus nth root x comma 3. So this is the cube root of x. Then that is going to be squared. So I'm going to first find the cube root of x and then square it. It's going to be the same thing as this. So now if I should try plotting it again, realize I'm going to get the full curve. So I'm going to get the full curve. So that's how we do the first question. So instead of typing x to the power 2 over 3, we can use this expression instead. Now someone might be wondering that, fine, we had this expression over here. Why didn't we just type it as, instead of doing it all squared, why didn't we just make it 2 over 3 here? If we do this, we'll get an error, right? The nth root function won't be able to pick this, so we'll get an error if we should try that. Oh, it worked this time. Let me see. Yes, we'll get an error. So if we should try plotting it, MATLAB is going to get confused about it. It's going to tell us that there's an error with this function, right? So we need to look out for that. So don't put in that fraction part there. Okay, now let's look at the next question. So let me clear everything. The next one, I also plotting this shape, and we've been given the equations we are using, x and y. But you realize that we have another symbolic function in terms of t. So I'll start with sims t. Then I can say that my x is equal to 3.3 minus 0.3 times t squared times, so dot star cos t. So that's my x. Y is the same expression, but then instead of cos it is sine. So I'll make this y. Now my interval is from minus 4 to 4, so interval is equal to minus 4 to 4. Now if I want to plot it once again, I'll just do ez plot. I'm plotting x and y in that interval, so I will get this shape. But I realize that what we have from the question is a bit thicker than what we have from our graph. So if we wanted to fix that, what we could have said is that maybe a is equal to our ez plot x comma y for that interval. Then we'll type a dot line width is equal to, so the number we enter will determine the thickness. So if I enter 3, 4, 5, it would make it, if I enter a larger number to make it very thick. So let me just type 3. and then if it runs, I'll get something like this, right? So you can do all of this in a script, not on the command window. I'm doing it on the command window because my laptop is messing up a bit, but it's still fine, right?